Shaheed Durga Malla occupies a unique position among the great martyrs who dared and defied the British authorities in India and stirred a revolutionary fervour in the hearts of young men and women across the length and breadth of the country to dedicate their lives for the liberation of the motherland from the British. Countless Gorkhas have fought and made sacrifices for our beloved nation. From the freedom struggle to the heights of Kargil, Gorkhas have always been at the forefront in the defense of our country. Shaheed Durga Malla belongs to the front rank of Gorkha heroes martyred for the cause of our country's freedom. He epitomized the fighting spirit and ardent patriotism of Indian Gorkhas.
Gorkhas are communities have been living at the foothills of Himalayas, right from Nepal up to Assam. And as a community, they have been very highly respected for 3-4 unique qualities. One is their valor. Amazingly loyal to the command and amazingly committed to executing the order even at the cost of life. They will never show their back executing the command. They have never been known to run away from the battlefield. Now, third thing, they are the most honest people on this Indian soil. I am saying this with full responsibility. Never in the history Gorkhas have been accused of deceiving people, being dishonest with people. They would prefer to murder you rather than to deceive you. That's the kind of absolute integrity and honesty is there among the Gorkhas.
Born on 1st of July 1913 at village Doiwala in Dehradun district of now Uttaranchal, Durga Malla was the eldest of 4 sons of Parvati Devi and Gangaram Malla. Gangaram Malla was Jamadar, now called Naib Subedar of Gorkha Rifles in the military, and Parvati Devi was a homemaker. The eldest among the 4 brothers, Durga Malla, was an extremely self-respecting, laborious, dedicated and honest person. The ancestors of Durga Malla had been living in Doiwala area since the 18th century. Their main occupation was agriculture and service in military forces. Growing sugarcane crop, preparing gur and sugar and selling them in the market was also part of their profession. Since his childhood, Durga Malla was different in nature from other children of his age. Besides having a keen interest in sports, particularly football, Durga Malla had a great fascination for literary and social activities. He was very good at studies, but due to the absence of proper educational facilities in Doiwala area, he had to join Gorkha Military Middle School, at present Gorkha Military Inter College near Dehradun. Since the school was quite far from Doiwala, he shifted to his paternal uncle Kedar Malla's house in Nalapani. He used to go to school on foot along with 1 or 2 of his friends, covering a distance of about 8 or 9 miles every day. Despite being tired on return from school late in the evening, he never neglected his studies and always stood first in his class. Durga Malla had drawn inspiration from the poet and social reformer Subedar Major Bahadur Singh Baral and the musician and playwright Mitra Sen Thapa. He was greatly inspired by the prominent Gandhian freedom fighters of Dehradun like Veer Khadag Bahadur Singh Bisht, Thakur Chandan Singh, Pandit Ishwaranand Gorkha and Amar Singh Thapa.
Gorkhas, they have shown their valor in any kind of battle that has been fought throughout. And after independence, you must be knowing that how not only in First World War, Second World War, in all, the colonial state has used their military prowess. And in that you can see that how that skill has been particularly recognized by the free Indian state. That in that the Gorkha rifle is a name of great honor in this country.
The Dandi March of Mahatma Gandhi in 1930 to violate salt rule started generating patriotic sentiments in the heart of Durga Malla, motivating him to take part in the freedom struggle. He could see the vision of the freedom of India under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. At the time of Satyagraha movement, Durga Malla was only a student of 9th class, but he was actively engaged in anti-British activities in his locality. He used to enter the Gorkha battalion area in the night with some of his friends to paste posters of freedom struggle. Sometimes he participated in processions with freedom fighters. Due to his anti-British activities, his family was frequently subjected to severe interrogation by the British government.
Son of an British army person doing this, not only putting his own life to the danger, but also his father's life. And look at here, his father doesn't stop him knowing well the consequences he's got. That is where I'm saying very committed people and very loving people.
Durga Malla always remained worried and restless at the plight of the Gorkha society. The following lines composed by Durga Malla reflect his sentiments and restlessness in his heart for self-respect. दिखाओ आकर भगवन सुषुप्त जाति को राह, क्या हुआ हमें, क्यों हुई आज मति मंद। वीरता पौरुष के कारण मिली वीर गोरखा की उपाधि, जो हीरे के समान था उज्जवल, क्यों हुआ माटी तुल्य। आज देखकर यह कुछ कह नहीं सकता, कब जानेंगे यह अपने कर्तव्य, सभी के उड़े हैं होश, कैसे मिला जन्म इन्हें, बदल गए सारे, करते हैं अपनों की चुगली, प्यार बांटने के बदले। चली गई पुरखों की प्रतिष्ठा, जाती हुई बदनाम, सिर्फ बचा है मानव चोला, क्यों बनाते हो माटी। दुर्गा लिख रहा है लेख, प्रभु चूर करो इनका दर्प, नेत्र हो तो अब भी देखो अन्य लोगों की चलने की राह। Durga Malla was also deeply concerned about the subjugation of India and the pathetic condition of the country. Therefore, he joined the freedom struggle to free the country from the shackles of slavery. This was the time when the police in Dehradun was frantically arresting freedom fighters. As a result, freedom fighters started migrating to other places from Dehradun. To dodge the police, Durga Malla, who was a young student, went away to the house of a relative at Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. In 1931, when he was only 18 years old, he joined the 2x1 battalion of Gorkha Rifles. In his battalion, Durga Malla was comparatively a more educated recruit. Therefore, after completing recruit training, he was sent to Pune for signal training. In the course of time, he attained excellence in several other military trainings. On the basis of his dedicated services and efficiency, he got quick promotions and after a few years was promoted to the important post of Signal Havaldar. In 1941, after serving the army for about 10 years, Durga Malla married Sharda Devi, a girl of Thakuri family of district Kangra, Himachal Pradesh. But fate had something else in store for him. It was time of the Second World War. Japanese aggression had become more violent in Burma, Malaya and Singapore. The 2x1 battalion of Gorkha Rifles was also ordered to advance for the war field. Just 3 days after his marriage, Durga Malla got an emergent call from his unit. He was called back for war by the army even before his newly married bride Sharda Devi could get acquainted with him. Being a true patriot, Durga Malla did not get upset while leaving his newly married bride alone back at home. He marched for war with utmost courage. When his battalion reached Sikandrabad, he was sanctioned leave for 28 days and given an opportunity to reach home and meet his family members before departing for Malaya. From Sikandrabad, his battalion reached Bombay and on August 23, 1941, departed for Malaya from the Bombay seaport. By September 1941, all the Gorkha battalions had reached Malaya. Following an attack on 8th of December 1941 by Japan on the Allied forces deployed in Southeast Asia, the war was declared. By 11th of December 1941, the condition of the British forces weakened. Gradually, Japanese forces tightened their grip over the war. Never before in the history of British rule had the Indian soldiers felt so demoralized as did in Malaya and subsequently at other places in Southeast Asia. In December 1941, a group of Indian soldiers lost themselves in the jungle. One of their officers, Captain Mohan Singh, decided not to rejoin the retreating British forces. He convinced himself that Indian soldiers had no cause to fight for the Britishers and instead fight the Britishers along with the Japanese.
The Japanese army and the Indian National Army, these were having a joint collaboration, and through that they have this vision that we have to separate the Northeast from the rest of the British India and get it freed from the British, and later on we will have further operation for the freedom of India. So that is an alternative method that has been shown by Subhash Chandra Bose.
With this mission in his mind, he approached Major Fujiwara of Japan, who assured him that Japan was prepared to go all out to assist India to attain independence. Major Fujiwara also declared that all Indian prisoners of war who were handed over to the Japanese government by a British officer, Colonel Hunt, on behalf of the British government, would be under the control of Captain Mohan Singh. To consolidate the Indian independence movement in Southeast Asia and determine the nature of Japanese assistance to the movement, two conferences were held in Tokyo and Bangkok in March and June 1942 respectively, where the important decision to raise the Indian National Army was taken. On September 1st, 1942, the Indian National Army, Azad Hind Fauj, was officially formed in Singapore. The formation of the Indian National Army represented a milestone in the history of India's freedom struggle. Durga Malla was one of those who played an important role in the formation of the Indian National Army. In 1942, he not only joined the INA with a patriotic zeal, but also inspired his fellow men to join it. Initially, Durga Malla was given the responsibility to mobilize volunteers for the Indian National Army from different Gorkha battalions. Later, by virtue of his patriotic feelings, his sense of duty towards his country and his valor, he earned promotion to the rank of Major. When after the formation of the provisional Azad Hind government under the supreme command of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, war was declared against the Allied forces on 25th of October 1943. Soldiers of different branches of the Indian National Army were deployed on the fronts. Durga Malla was posted in the intelligence branch. He, along with some other fellow soldiers, entered the hilly area of the then Greater Assam across Burma border. There, he used to collect and send important information regarding matters of strategic importance to the headquarters of Indian National Army in Rangoon. Despite the shortage of supplies, ammunitions and weapons and adverse geographical conditions.
Malla, when he joined INA, he was already working. Before that, he was working in intelligence wing of British Army, posted in Northeast. And when he joins INA, Durga Malla is given the same responsibility for INA. So now he was working for intelligence of our INA. It's important for one thing, Remember that INA army was right at the border of northeastern things. It had already won several islands. So, very crucial role Malla played in getting the army so close to border, because his intelligence information provided where are the British army posted, where are the arms and ammunition kept, where the strength lies, where the weakness lies, and INA exploited to the hilt on the information provided by Durga Malla.
On 27th of March 1944, when Durga Malla was on a mission to collect information of the enemy camps, he was captured by the soldiers of enemy side at Ukhrul in Manipur near Kohima. After his arrest, Durga Malla was kept in the prison at Red Fort, New Delhi as a prisoner of war. He was prosecuted by military court under Section 41 of the Indian Army Law and Section 121 of the Indian Penal Code. He was given death sentence by the court-martial, the court of trial before which he was tried at Red Fort. That was the time when the imperialist British rulers were trying to suppress the Indian freedom struggle by all means. Therefore, before the death sentence was finally executed, the British authorities tried to coax Major Durga Malla into confessing the wrong and promised him grant of remission if he could do so. But it was against the morals of Veer Durga Malla, whose only objective was to get the country free.
British wanted someone, be it just one, to denounce INA and say that I was wrong to join INA, INA is a fake, this and that. But it is the credibility of INA, it is the absolute credibility of people like Malla who did not denounce the INA, rather prefer to die. That is what you call prefer to die for the nation rather than saying that I was wrong.
He preferred to embrace the gallows rather than accepting the proposal of the British rulers.
He was not at all deterred by anything. He was so convinced that, and you can know that many of historians have tried to analyze this whole event, the INA trials, as the precursor of the Royal Indian Mutiny that has happened in the Royal Indian Navy in Mumbai and at that time Bombay and Karachi, and in 1946, and that is the very context in which you can see that the British forces, which were being mainly the Indians who were contributing in all this, the First World War, Second World War.
All persuasions having failed, Durga Malla's wife Sharda Devi was brought before him at the prison cell as the last resort. The British attempted to use Sharda Devi to leverage to compel him to apologize, but their efforts were unsuccessful. Major Malla did not yield to any tactics devised by the British authorities. On the contrary, he gave his wife his last words by saying, "Sharda, I am sacrificing my life for the freedom of my motherland. You need not be worried and distressed. Crores of Hindustanis will be with you after my death. The sacrifice I am offering shall not go in vain. India shall be free. I am confident this is only a matter of time." On 15th of August 1944, Veer Durga, the great patriot, was taken to Delhi Central Jail from the Red Fort. After 10 days, on 25th of August 1944, he was sent to the gallows.
The war cemetery at Kohima, where the epithet which reads that whenever you go to your home, say to your children that we have sacrificed our today for your tomorrow.
Thus ended the journey of one more noble son of Mother India, who laid down his precious life at the altar of freedom. Durga Malla's physical body is no more, but he sacrificed himself after leading a meaningful life of only 31 years and became immortal.
संसद टीवी के और भी प्रोग्राम्स देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा YouTube चैनल और हाँ, इन्हें लाइक और शेयर करना ना भूलें।